Hi, and this is part 4 of my speech delay blog about my son Tom, and in this video I'm going to talk about the global assessment he had when he was 3 years and 10 months old. So this assessment was really in depth, and it was about five or six 2-hour assessments, and it was at a centre where there was a big play area, and then the specialists would come in and they'd observe him, and then they'd take him with me to a room, and they would do some sort of formal assessments. So it was informal and formal assessments, and there was a speech therapist, there was a paediatrician, there was an educational psychologist, there was an occupational therapist, there was he had a vision test as well, and a doctor. What happened during these assessments is actually it turned everything on its head, and it made me see that I had been in a real state of denial about Tom's problems, because I would sit there and I would say, oh no, we can get him to repeat, and he won't talk until he's feeling comfortable, and we just need to wait for that. We get lots of sort of long professionally kind of concerned looks, and then they would assess him, and they gave me the results. And we do have a real problem with Tom. The educational psychologist, for example, said he did a naming vocabulary test, and Tom was in the lowest 1% for children of his age. Okay. And then he did a verbal comprehension test, and he's also in the lowest 1% of children of his age. Now, in these assessments, Tom was getting things wrong, which I knew that he knew. And I explained this to the educational psychologist, and he said to me that the fact that Tom finds the whole procedure stressful is telling in itself. And the fact that he's really just on 2-word phrases mostly, you know, I know that from my own experience, that's also telling. So he can understand and produce more language at home than he did in the assessment, but I need to take their views into account. And the other thing is that there's a lot of things at his school that he refuses to do, which echo that kind of behaviour, the sabotaging this assessment that he did. So he won't sit in circle time, and we're still potty training him. So I think I hear a lot of parents when they get news from professionals about their child that they don't like, and their friends will sit round and they'll say, oh, but they don't know your child like you do. And that's true, but they can have an objective view of your child that you can never have. And I see it a bit like a Venn diagram. So a Venn diagram has got 2 circles which kind of overlap, and so one circle is your knowledge of your child, and the other circle is the professional, cool, objective gaze. And so where they overlap is the fact that, it's really difficult to explain, that you can bring something to the understanding about your child that they will never have, and equally they bring something to the understanding of your child that you will never have. So that was very difficult. A lot of it was very difficult to hear these things when I realised that I had been in a state of denial, thinking, oh, Tom, he'll just sort himself out. And to be honest with you, now in October, so this is 3-4 months later, we don't know. And I did say to the educational psychologist, well, what's the prognosis? What is the prognosis for a child like Tom, who, in lots of ways, he acts like a 2-year-old, and his language is that of a 2-year-old in lots of ways. What's the prognosis? And he said to me, a lot of children like this have innate problems, but there's a significant minority who are very delayed. So Tom is still a mystery, and it's very important, I think, to just accept that. We live in a world where we expect to understand everything and conquer everything with our knowledge. You know, we living in an information saturated culture, and Tom is a little mystery. We don't know, and I think there's a wait and see element to this whole thing, which is incredibly difficult. It's incredibly difficult, but at the same time, I need to be there for my child. I need to give his potential the full support, because if he can do more than most children who are displaying his behaviour and lack of development, if he can do more than them, then they can. And if he is one of that significant minority, then I've got to be there to help him get it out. So that's it. And the outcome of this whole assessment was that they suggested that he go to a special school. Now initially we were devastated by this, but the ideal would be that he would go for a year, maybe, and it would get his communication skills up, and then with the idea for him to go back into mainstream. So as things stand at the moment, we have not got that place. The special school is very full. So that's where we are. So at the moment I am trying to I'm trying to give him as much help as I can, and we've got help at his school. He's not started in the reception year, he's still in the nursery. He couldn't deal with that. So that's where we are now, and yeah, it's difficult. Some days are good, some days are bad. Part of me wants him to go to special school, part of me would like him to stay in mainstream, and there's a part of me that just thinks it'll all come out on its own. A very confusing time, very emotional time. So my 3 words for this to describe how I'm feeling are I don't know. So there you go. That's where we are now in October 2012. And in the next video I'm going to show you the what they showed me during this whole assessment that really helped Tom's behaviour, because it's turned our lives around really. Okay, thanks.